everybody. Welcome back to Sooner Girl Sports Pod. And today is episode 27. And my amazing guest this week is from OU Men's Tennis, Bruno Nhavene. And Bruno is 23 years old. He is about to be a senior at OU. He was born and raised in Mozambique till he was 13 years old. And then he moved to Morocco by himself so that he could continue chasing his dream to pursue being the best tennis player that he could be. Throughout that journey, he went through a lot. He ended up at a junior college in Kansas where he won 3 national titles, and then he got recruited to come be a part of the University of Oklahoma men's tennis team. He became a Sooner fan the day that he watched Bedlam Tennis his freshman year when he was in Kansas, and he just remembers sitting there and telling himself how cool it was to see all of their traditions and everything, and he thought it would be so cool to be a part of the Sooner program. So it truly is a dream come true for Bruno to be a part of the OU men's tennis team, and we are so happy to have him as a part of our program. His favorite Sooner memory, even though he has a whole list of them, he would have to say is beating Georgia and winning regionals with Oscar, and that really left a mark on him. So I would like to thank Sweet Bruno for joining me on the podcast. He is such a kind soul. I met him in person at a tennis meet earlier in the spring. I just walked up to him. I recognized him from social media. We talk about that on the podcast, and he was so kind. We've connected on social media. We've gotten to chat some and get to know each other, and I'm just so grateful that he took the time to come on and chat with me today, and I'm thankful for our friendship, and I look forward to seeing where he goes in his future. And for his senior year at OU, I cannot wait to get out and support the men's team and see him play on the court. So I hope you guys enjoy this awesome interview with Bruno Nhavene, and you can go give him a follow on Instagram and Twitter. He is at Bruno Nhavene on Twitter and Bruno.Nhavene, Nhavene, on Instagram. So enjoy this awesome interview with Bruno.
All right.
Hey, I appreciate you visiting with me today. I'm very excited to chat.
Likewise.
Well,
Thank you for
I know.
having me.
Of course, of course. I appreciate your kind words on your bio that you filled out, mentioning us meeting earlier this spring. And I think I told you then, what caught my eye with you back in the fall was when you were talking about trying to get people to come to your tennis matches and said you would try out for the football team. And so that was something that got a lot of traction on social media.
Right.
And that's what got my attention with you. And so I recognized you obviously when I saw you at the meet. And so I had to say hello. And so I appreciate you being so kind then and now as well. I was reading over what you said about your story and your journey to Oklahoma, and it's very impressive. So I want you to kind of tell me about growing up in your home country of Mozambique, and then your move as a teenager and so on. So just tell me a little bit about all that.
My dad's family all played tennis. My dad, his siblings, and I fell in love with the sports when I was 3 years old, I guess. My big brother and I used to go out there, and my dad still used to play a few tournaments just for fun. So we'd go watch him, support him, and then we play with the racket, and we loved it. At the age of 10, I played my first international tournament in Namibia. I made quarterfinals in singles, and I won the tournament in doubles. And I
Wow.
remember being so happy. I was very, very happy because when I got home, I had, TVs asking me to go in there and just give interview of how was it, like my experience and how does it feel to win and everything. So from there, I decided that I really wanted to play this sport and I wanted to go far. So my dad just decided to invest 100% in tennis for me, and I had a great time. And when I got to 12 years old, I was ranked high in my age group in Africa. So I got a scholarship to go to Morocco. Which was going to be me alone, just leaving my family and going to a tennis academy in Morocco to pursue my dream of becoming the best tennis player I could be. But it was very challenging, obviously. My sister wasn't born yet, so I was still the baby of the house. So I was still mommy's boy, and it was very difficult. I remember my mom questioning me every day, are you sure you want to do this? Like, are you ready? You're not going to be
Yeah.
able to go there and open the fridge like you do. Like, you're not going to have the freedom.
Right.
Like it's gonna be different and everything. And I was like, Mama, I really want to do it. Like, and my dad was
Oh.
like, he got this, he got this, he got this. So going there was very difficult. Honestly, it was completely a change. Even though it's in Africa, it's completely different from where I come from. You know, it's a
Mm-hmm.
Muslim country, different language. Nobody there speaks English. Like it's not a language there.
Oh
English is not a
wow.
language. There's a few
Okay.
people who speak English, but it's not like something that they speak or learn in school, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I was forced to learn how to speak French.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, I was forced to speak in French, and I adapted. I can't say quick. I struggled a lot. I used to cry a lot. I used to call my
Oh,
parents a lot.
I
I
bet
used
so.
to, yeah, it got to a time where I really wanted to give up on the sport because I knew that if I left there, then going back home would mean me going back and not playing tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Because the reason why I went there was because it was the best place for me to be if I wanted to continue being a tennis player. But I have strong parents and a strong family that they never gave up and they believe that the easy path is never the path, you know. So they
Yeah.
always prayed with me through the phone and just told me, look, you're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this together. And growing up, I figured out that I was hurting my parents by telling them what I was going through there because they couldn't
Okay.
really help, you know. They couldn't really
Yeah.
help. So they just staying away and hoping that their kid is okay. So I
Yeah.
just learned to take it as a man and I matured
Oh,
quick after that. And after that it was fun. I started doing good because obviously, you know, when you're not feeling comfortable in a place, it's very hard for you to do good
for
because you
sure.
can't focus on what matters. But yeah, like I said, I'm a big believer in God, so I used to pray a lot. My grandma prayed a lot for me and my parents, you
Yes.
know. I was so lucky to have the family I have and we pushed through it. So I finished Morocco and then I went back home for a year
Mm-hmm.
because after everything and being far from my family, not getting to see my baby sister grow up, I decided that I wanted to stay with my family before I moved away from them again.
Yeah.
And I always knew I wanted to go to college because
Mm-hmm.
um, I come from a place that is life is hard, you know, in Mozambique,
Uh-huh.
life is raw. So you always have to have a
Mm-hmm.
plan B. So I always knew I wanted to be a tennis player, but I also want to have a college degree in
Mm-hmm.
case the tennis doesn't go my way, then I have a plan B, you know, and I can still
Absolutely.
go out there and have a career.
Absolutely.
So I go back home and I stay there with my family for a year. And then I decide, okay, this is the time now. Like, I feel like I'm loved again. I feel like I'm closer to my family again. I feel like I've seen my sister grow enough. Like, it's time for me to go continue chasing my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to go to a D1 school, but I figured out that I was not eligible. With the situation I was going through in Morocco, my GPA in high school was not as high. So it wasn't good enough for me to go to a D1 school. And coming from Africa, we're a little bit ignorant when it comes to college. We don't know there's a
Right.
certain GPA you have to enter D1, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So the coach I was talking to then, he told me to go to this junior college, which was Kali College. And there, our assistant coach was the head coach, Manuel Raga, who is now assistant coach at OU.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was the head coach there, and I remember it took us like one day. I sent him my video. I think the coach that I was talking to also talked highly about me, and I
Mm-hmm.
think my rating was very high for junior college at that time. So he was like, "Okay, look, let's sign." So he sent me the papers, and I was like, "Yeah, let's sign. Like, it is what it is." Obviously, I was a bit upset because I didn't want to go to JUCO because I just knew I had the level to go straight to D1. But again, I'm
Yeah.
a big believer of God, and
Uh-huh.
I knew that like if everything happens for a reason, so I'm just gonna follow God's path and keep working hard.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I get to Cali and I absolutely loved it. My plan was only to go there for one year and I had a great time. My freshman year marked my life forever. It was amazing. I won three national championships there, freshman and sophomore year. It was a great time. It taught me how to play for a team. You know, I got a family there in Kansas, which I
Uh-huh.
went back last Thanksgiving to go spend Thanksgiving with them the
Oh,
whole week.
good. How cool.
Yes. So it's a small community, but that's
Uh-huh.
what makes it fun because it's kids from all over the world. It's
Uh-huh.
coming together and representing this small school. So it was
Yes.
fun. It was very fun. So after that, my freshman year had a good year. I went, I think, 19 and 1 in singles and 20 and 3 in doubles.
Oh,
So I
wow.
did very good. So a
Yes.
lot of coaches were texting me, and I remember I told myself I want to come back for another year because I just loved it so much, and I wanted to
Uh-huh.
bring the national championship back and do a back to back, back to
Yes,
back
yes.
win. But unfortunately, we weren't able to. We lost in the finals the next year, but I was so proud of the team as well. You know, it was my first time leading a team, and I remember just looking at those guys and being like, yeah, these guys are going to do great things in life just because they're so hardworking and, they fight so hard for their dreams.
Yes.
Because being honest, in junior college, like there's no NILs, there's nothing. Like you do it for pride.
Right,
You do it for
absolutely.
pride. We
Yeah.
don't have fans. It's not like we don't have fans.
So
Like it's just
true.
you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it for your
Mhm.
teammates and you're doing it for the people you really love.
Mhm.
So it's special. But
Mhm.
that allowed me to be recruited from other schools and, I remember signing with OU before even coming on a visit, just because Manuel was already there, the coach, and
Uh-huh.
me and him had a strong connection. And then Coach Ben came down to Wichita to watch me play a UTR tournament, which I
Uh-huh.
won. And then I got on a call with Coach Nick, and I was just loved their mentality matched up.
Yes.
Nothing better than having three head coaches in one team because they've all been a head coach.
Yes, that's really
Coach Ben
cool.
was a head coach in a D1 program. Manny won a
Mhm.
national championship and was a head coach as a junior college. And then Coach Nick as well, being a head coach. So I
Yes.
was like, this is the place where I
That's
want to be.
awesome.
And their drive to wanting to win and work hard is,
Mhm.
what also attracted me a lot. And I remember we had one call, and then I said, look, I just got to call my parents, let them know before I confirm. And
Yeah.
my parents were like, we trust you. So if your gut tells you that's where you want to go, then that's where you're going. And I remember, just announcing it. And I was very proud of myself because it's like, wow, like I've been through a lot and now I'm going to a big, big, big school, like
Yes.
being in Kansas, we hear a lot about OU because it's
Uh-huh.
big.
Uh-huh.
Oklahoma's just right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm about to be a Sooner. Like this is a
That's
dream
so
come true.
cool. Yes.
Yeah, so it was a great journey and I've loved every single moment ever since I've got into OU. It's been fun. It's been different as well. Obviously, football games, I've never been into
Oh my
those
goodness.
before coming to OU and then
Uh-huh.
playing in front of 500 people, coming out fans, and then having people like you come up to me and being like, "Hey, Bruno, can I take a picture?" For me, it's very special, and just
That's
means
cool.
that, it's just for me, I'm very happy to see that like people look up to me and they really care about me around the community, and it means a lot to me, obviously, because it makes me feel like home.
Absolutely. That's really cool. Well, talking about your faith in God, that's a big thing because I share that with you. And I think it's something that when it's important to you and it's part of your life, it's something you rely on to
100%.
guide you and help you make all of the decisions. And so when you have a peace
100%.
about it, you just know. And so kind of like
100%.
you were saying, and that's really cool to hear you talk about that. And hey, I cannot imagine as a 13-year-old moving to another state or country away from my family. And yeah, that's very impressive that you did that to follow your dreams, but it has paid off, and I know your family's so proud of you. So that's really cool. And then, like you said, people recognize you, and there's fans that come and watch you play, and that means a lot to you. It kind of solidifies all of the decisions and choices you made over the years to get you
Right.
where you are.
Right.
So
100%.
that's really cool. So one thing that you said that stuck out to you was being in Stillwater and watching Bedlam tennis. And I love that because my husband actually graduated from OSU. And so anything
Okay.
Bedlam is very special to our family. And so when you said that, I was like, oh, I love this memory so much. So you were actually in Stillwater that year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember we were, that junior college team that I was in as a freshman.
Uh huh.
We were so driven into winning a national championship, especially because the guys that were there before me, they've lost twice already in the finals. So
Oh,
we really
wow.
wanted to go and win,
Uh huh.
because they were tired of losing in the finals, and we're just figuring out how to
Yeah.
get the best version of ourselves. So I remember after playing a dual match, we won. Our coach Manuel decided to take us on a quick trip to
That's
Stillwater to watch
cool.
OU against OSU. And I remember we wanted to be so good in doubles because we were playing good singles, but we needed to
Uh
improve our
huh.
doubles in order to win the national championship.
Okay.
We thought that was going to be key for us, the doubles points. And he took us down to Stillwater. We got there a little bit late, so we only got to watch maybe 3 points of doubles.
Uh
But
huh.
then we stayed for what happened after, which was the
Uh huh.
singles. And I remember OU winning, Nathan Hahn clinching the match.
Oh yes. Uh huh.
And I just remember seeing the energy. Like, I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, just people going, Boomer, Sooner,
Yes.
Boomer, Sooner. And I'm like, wow, I'm just sitting there taking videos and I'm like, this, like, I want to be here. Like, I want to really be here. And then that's why for me it's very special. Like now I get to wear the
Yes.
crimson and cream myself. I get to be the one screaming Boomer Sooner. I get to be the one like representing the Sooner Nation and being part of it and living it. So for me it's very special. It's like taking me back to being a little kid again and dreaming to be somewhere, and then it happened, And
Yes.
so
Oh, I love
it's
that.
all
I love
glory to
that.
God, honestly. That's what I say. It's God's plan. Whatever
Absolutely.
God writes, nobody can damage it. So it's just
Absolutely.
amazing.
And that's a comforting thing to know for sure, because we definitely make mistakes sometimes. I love what you said about, or I hadn't thought about this fact of, you going to an OU football game and you've never been to a big stadium like that, and like
Yeah.
it's a big place. I mean, football is a big deal in America, and yeah, it brings out the crowds for sure. So I can only imagine what you thought and felt that first time you went into the stadium, because it's a whole nother level.
Right. Right. So I think the first time I actually went for a football match was in OU, and it was the year I went for my visits.
Okay.
2023 during Thanksgiving, OU was still in Big 12, so they played
Uh huh.
TCU that day,
Yes.
and they
Okay.
beat they
Yes.
beat they beat TCU pretty bad, and I
Uh
remember
huh.
being there like right next to the field,
Uh
So
huh.
it was like amazing. It was amazing to watch the energy and everything. But
Yes. That's so cool.
when I came into OU last fall, when we got into the SEC, and I went for a night game, that also blew up my mind.
Oh,
It blew
yes.
up my mind because the energy at night is also different. When they score the touchdown, the lights
That's
go
the next
out.
level. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was very fun and it was amazing. It's just amazing. I'm so excited for this fall. Going
Me
back
too.
again, watching the football games. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. I'm a big football girl myself, and so I we have season tickets for football. So I come to all the football games, and it's something I look forward to. And yeah, I love the night games, like you said, the lights and everything. It's I'm ready. I'm not a big fan of the heat, but my seats are in the shade. I'm in the southwest corner, and
Okay.
so I have the overhang over me. So I'm very thankful for the shade, because I don't
I
like to
see.
sit out in it for a long period of time. But
Yeah, I see. I see.
anyway, that is so crazy. It's something like I said, for me, I think I take for granted, because I grew up here, in Oklahoma, and I grew up an OU fan and football fan, and so I started going to OU football games at 8 years old, and it's all I've ever known. So for you coming in and not ever having seen or been around a crowd like that is something that I've always been accustomed to. So I can't imagine
Right.
walking into that, having never been exposed to anything of the like, and being like, oh my goodness, how crazy, how crazy.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I did want to ask you too. You mentioned one of your favorite memories is beating Georgia, and winning the regionals with Oscar. So yeah, let's talk
Right.
about that a little bit, because I like to watch Oscar too. I followed him for a little bit, so yeah,
Yeah.
he's fun.
So yeah, that was regionals last year. So
Hmm.
fun fact, actually, since I've been in college, every fall, I don't want to jinx it, but I've been winning regionals and doubles every
Oh, that's
fall.
awesome. Yes.
So it's three in a row right now, and
Uh-huh.
hopefully four in a row, hopefully,
Yes. Yes.
if God allows. But yeah, it's been very special. I remember the first time I played with Oscar, we bonded quick. It was very quick. Like our games matched. We both speak French, so that helps as well.
Cool.
Um,
Yes.
yeah. And he's just like a little brother, honestly. He's just a
Hmm.
little brother. He's there for me whenever I'm down, or whenever I'm high. He's always there for me. He's a brother,
Hmm.
and we've learned how to bond. And last year we had a great season, like in the fall, a very good
Hmm.
season. I think we only lost one match in NCAA, but other
That's
than that,
awesome.
we won. We won. We went to the SEC Invitational
Uh huh.
in Bama, and we won all the matches. And then we went to regionals, and we won all the matches. And then that was very special. It was very special because it was a lot of matches, singles and doubles, and he ended up winning the regionals and singles as well with Jordan. So they co-shared the
Okay.
championship,
Yes. Okay. Yes. Wow.
and I made it into quarters in singles. So we were playing
Uh
like
huh.
up to like three matches a day in that heat of
Wow.
the fall in Tulsa. So it was very physical. Yeah, we played in
Absolutely.
Tulsa. It was very physical, but we came in very locked in and we played very good. We had some good wins. And then we got a wild card to play the 25K, the pro tournament, the futures at home
Hmm.
in Norman indoors,
Yes.
and we ended up winning that tournament too, like
That's
the week
awesome.
after. So it was very nice. We had a great time. I remember both of us because Oscar also comes from a small island. He's
Uh-huh.
French, but also from Guadeloupe. So for us, it's like two kids that dream
Yes.
to be doing these things, and we look at each other like, brother, we're doing it. Like, gotta
Oh
keep going.
my goodness.
And what I like about him is that he's very hungry for more as well.
Yes.
He's just like me. He wants more. He wants more. He's never what you mean. He's never comfortable with the lead. Like he always wants
Satisfied.
more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I know he's gonna be very successful tennis player and a successful man in life.
That's cool.
Yeah, going to NCAA, I remember we worked very hard for it. We were both kind of nervous. It was our first time. We're like,
Yeah. That's
dude,
so.
first year, it was his first year as a freshman. He went
Mm-hmm.
there singles and doubles, and it was my first year in D1. And it's like, we here. Like, we are here among
Yes.
the best players in college.
Amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing to be there. Unfortunately, we didn't get the win, but we learned a lot. And then this year in the spring, we struggled a little bit. We struggled a little bit in the beginning. But luckily, we have great teammates as well that play great tennis, and
Yes.
they played very good doubles indoors. Like they had our back every time. I think Oscar and I didn't get to finish a lot of matches in the beginning, but our teammates were on fire, winning a lot of points. But then we started picking up. We talked to coach and we figured out what we had to figure out and started rolling after South Carolina. We had some great wins. We were not ranked, and
Uh-huh.
then we just ended up winning, trusting each other, trusting our coaches' plays, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're number 10 in the country. And it was a great feeling as well. But again, we weren't happy. We wanted more. We felt like we could do more, so we kept going. But going to the Georgia match, we won doubles that day, and I think they were ranked. We normally don't know about that. We never talk about the ranks and anything. Absolutely don't care about the individual ranking when it comes to
Right.
the spring. We just want to win as a team.
Yeah.
But then
Makes
obviously it's
sense.
nice when Tuesday comes of the next week and then you're like, oh, we actually beat a ranked players. Like that's
Yeah.
nice to know. It
That's
gives you more
awesome.
motivation. But
Yes.
that Georgia match, like I said, I'm a small town kid. I'm from
Uh-huh.
Mozambique. So when you watch college tennis and you say UGA, it's a big school as well. And you
Absolutely.
hear about the crowd, you hear about the football, like everything is just UGA is a big
Yes.
program, right?
It is.
So for us, it's like going to play UGA, and we know we are Sooners, so we also the best, we also the best. I think we were ranked higher then, if I'm not mistaken, but we went in there and we were. I think we're going through a rough patch as well as a team. We just came back from. I think we lost two matches in a row the week before, so we
Yeah.
worked very hard. We worked very
Yeah.
hard that week. Worked very hard, and Thursday night came and everybody showed out. Everybody showed out. And obviously, it helps playing these tough teams at home because we have
Oh,
special
for
fans
sure.
like you that come out and
Yes.
scream and keep us going, because tennis is a tough sport. There's no
It is.
timeouts. Nobody can substitute you.
Right.
If something
It's all
happens to you
you.
on court, all you. Like,
Yeah.
the coach can't substitute you. There's no timeouts. And in
Mm-mm.
between changeovers, we only got like 30 seconds where the coach can come and talk to you. But like even during the points, like the coach only has 25 seconds to talk to you, and there's
Wow.
not, so it's like it's a very mental sport. So being at home and having the crowd there, seeing the people wearing crimson and cream,
For
shouting Boomer
sure.
Sooner and shouting your name, it really helps us go through it. So definitely helps a lot. Also, being in the new stadium out there was amazing because now
Oh,
we have the crowd
yes.
from a different type of view, and you feel
Yeah.
like you guys are right there with us. So it was very special being Georgia because I remember going back to the locker room and then coach came in, fired up, didn't even say anything, just took out water and everybody
Oh, I
just
bet
throwing water,
so.
jumping up and down. It was very special. But again, we knew that we had to back it up next week. And then we did good the next weeks again. But
Mm-hmm.
then we played Georgia again in SEC. And
Oh,
then
yes.
this time it was a little bit more intense because they didn't want to lose to us again.
Uh-huh.
It was tough, but thank God, the Sooners came through and we did it again, and it was special again. So,
Absolutely.
that win against Georgia really marked us because for us it's like, wow, we did beat this big program. We did it.
That's cool. And you did it twice. That's
We
incredible.
did it twice.
That's really neat. Well, when I saw you that day at the meet, I believe it was LSU.
Right.
That was actually my very first tennis games to
I
attend.
remember you mentioned that. I remember you
Yes.
mentioned that. I remember you mentioned that.
It's so crazy because so I graduated from OU in 2003. So it's been a long
Wow.
time, but I have always followed anything OU sports related, but since I started doing my podcast, I've been more intentional, especially about following tennis, volleyball, soccer, track, all of those sports that sometimes get overlooked. Because I watch football all the time, basketball, softball, baseball, but there's so many athletes like you with these amazing stories that put in hard work every day and have your entire life, and I don't want you guys to get overlooked. Now I know I can't talk to everybody and meet everybody and go to all the
100%.
things,
Yeah.
but I get up there as much as I can and try to go to all the things. But last year I went to my first soccer game. Actually made it to two, and then tennis. I was there the day I saw you, and then I watched the girls regionals day one.
Yes.
And so that was so much fun because I tell people if you just get out, and I mean, I've followed you guys on social media, for a long time, but if you just get out and go, like tennis is free. I think soccer was like $5 or something. You get attached to the players and the team and the coaches, and you want to cheer them on and you want to be there. Like it's so much fun to yell Boomer Sooner with all of your friends, even though they're people you don't know, you're all there together cheering for the
Right.
team. And I'm
100%.
like, just go and get out and watch the athletes because, like I said, you guys have incredible stories and put in a lot of work that often gets overlooked. And I hate that. And I know I can't be everywhere and talk to everybody, but I want to do what I can. But anyway, all that to say, I had the best time at the tennis matches that day. My husband was there with me. And it's hard though because there's six courts. So, I was trying to bounce around and see all the people and do all the things, but it's so exciting to watch. Tennis is
Yes.
a fun sport to watch. And I do like being outside. Like you said, you're kind of like on top of the
Closer. Yeah.
courts. Yeah, it was so great that day. I
Yeah.
watched the girls and regionals there. Yeah, it's so much fun. So I can't wait to come back out to some more tennis matches because I had a blast, and of course following you and Oscar and Coach Nick, I see a little more that makes me feel attached to you
Right.
guys. So but yeah, so when do you guys start playing in the fall?
So I don't really know the program yet, but I know there's like invitational tournaments, but I
Okay.
know we are hosting regionals this year, but it's individual regionals.
Okay.
So everybody plays singles for themselves,
Right.
and then we have doubles as well.
Okay.
But it's possible to play two Sooners like in quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just competition in the end of the day, but it's to book us a spot for the NCAA tournament. I know
Yes.
we do have the All-American. I think a few of us will be able to play
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah.
All-American due to the last year's results.
Uh-huh.
And we have, I think, one PTT UTR, which is another tournament that just allows us to have more matches. So yeah, our Coach Nick does a great job in trying to like get us to play as much tournaments and as much matches as possible so that we're
For
ready when
sure.
the spring comes. When it
Yeah.
comes down to the spring, it's about having matches and having confidence. And if you don't have confidence, then it's very tough for you to win big matches in front of a lot of people. We're in
Absolutely.
the SEC right now, so the crowds are a little
Yes.
bit more than what we used to. Even for
Yes.
the guys that have been in OU for many years, for them,
Uh-huh.
they told us dude, it's different. It's
I can
completely
imagine.
different. So, but I'm very excited. I think we coming back stronger. We
Uh-huh.
were a young team and we did okay, but I think we're gonna do way better next year because we already know what it takes to win.
Yeah.
So we finished up big, I can say. We lost to TCU in May. It hurt a lot. It's very painful, but I remember looking at everybody's face and eyes, and we knew that that's going to change,
Yep.
and I remember talking to the guys after a few days after that, and just the commitment to wanting to come back and do better next year.
For sure.
So very excited, very excited. It's very special in the fall. You just wake up at 6 a.m., go to the gym, lift with the boys, go do your
Yeah.
individuals, go to class, go to the football games. That's
Mm-hmm.
it's actually the only time we get to bond and get to be with each
Yeah.
other because sometimes it's hard because, in the fall, people go to different tournaments with different coaches. But
Yes.
whenever we all together, we it's the only time we get to bond and have fun together, get to know each other.
Yes.
But we have what, 7 returners, so we just only 2 guys that are gonna have to come in and join the
Yes.
team, but which is very easy because a bunch of nice guys around.
Uh-huh.
We all love each other, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
That's
fun.
so
So
cool. I'm
excited.
excited. Well, I know when I was there, it was pretty crowded indoors there, but it was so fun to watch the other fans as well because everybody was so into it. And it seems like most of the people that come and watch are pretty regular attenders for you guys, and so that's cool. So I know that that's important to you all, and especially like you said, the new players that are going to come in and join, for them to get to experience that too. But like I said, I had a blast. I can't wait to be able to come back and watch you guys. And like I said, it was kind of like a small little family up there, just cheering everybody on, and everybody was really into it. And I love that because it's one thing to have 85,000 people in a football stadium, and you may only have a few hundred people at a tennis match,
Uh,
but they were just as passionate and definitely trying to be just as loud when I was there. So
oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm
Yeah,
excited to be able to watch you guys again. So,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to share?
Not really, just how much I'm grateful for this opportunity of being a Sooner. I appreciate you as well for wanting to get me on your
Of
podcast.
course.
We do appreciate you for doing this. It's very special for us. Obviously, just letting people know that there's other sports as well, that
Absolutely.
yeah, but I'm just so grateful to be part of the Sooner family. I'm excited for the senior year. It's gonna be special. Can't wait to get back on campus. Obviously when it comes to May, you burned out a little bit, with the tennis,
For
with the
sure.
school,
Yeah.
final exams. You got a little bit mentally, you know,
Mm-hmm.
tired. But once June comes and you've had like 3 weeks of just resting,
Yes.
you just want to keep working hard and you're already thinking about what's
Ready
coming
to go.
next because ready to
Absolutely.
go. All right. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited and appreciate everybody that supports the Sooners, every Sooner alumni that comes out and watches us and watches the other sports, because and that makes us feel like we're home for the athletes that are
For
international as
sure.
well. It means a lot because we are far from home, so
Yes.
we are the only family that we have.
Yes.
It's always special having people come out and show us love because our parents can be there for us, our siblings can be there
Yes.
for us. So when you guys come out, it's very special for us as well. Just knowing people care about us. So
For
thank you.
sure. Well, of course. I'm happy to play whatever small role I can in that for sure. It's my honor, but it's really cool looking at the roster, especially for tennis. And I noticed this with soccer as well, and track and field. There's so many athletes from so many different places, other countries, and like you said, their family can't be there to watch them, and their friends back
All right.
home. They're so far
Right.
away, different time zones, different days, and it's important as Sooner fans to get out and, like you said, show the support to you guys, and be there because all of you can't always have your families there, and that
Right.
means a lot. Like when I think about that, I think I can't imagine anything I've ever done. Like my family was there to watch me, so I can't imagine going, okay, I'm going to go play tennis today, or whatever, and knowing that my family wasn't there or my friends or whatever, and then just saying, okay, well, I hope people show up to watch me. So when I think about it that way, I just want to drag everybody into the tennis courts or the soccer field or whatever and go, okay, come on, let's go and watch these guys because, like I said, you put in all the work, all the time and effort, and you deserve all the support. So whatever
Right.
small role I can play, I'm definitely happy to, and I hope to be able to do that more
Right.
going forward. But yeah, it's very cool to hear stories like yours, where you came from and your family still being there, and just what led you here to America, to Oklahoma, and got you where you are. And so I loved hearing your story, and I am so
Appreciate you.
thankful. I'm so thankful that you shared it with me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed that awesome interview with Sweet Bruno. He truly is a kind soul, and I'm so grateful to call him friend. Like I said, we met at a tennis match last spring, and he has just been so kind and so friendly, just acting like we've known each other forever. So I truly appreciate him, and again, I look forward to seeing where he goes in the future. And I wanted to read something that Bruno shared on his Instagram last week. It was just too good not to to share. I actually shared the post and posted in my stories on Instagram and Facebook and also on Twitter as well, and told people to read the caption. But in case you missed that, I really wanted to read this from Bruno's Instagram to close out his segment of the podcast this week. Bruno writes, as he posted several action shots of him playing tennis, was the post, and then this is the caption. Some would wait till the last day. Some would wait till their season was over, but I'm doing this different. A month from now, I head back to Oklahoma for my last year of college tennis. These past 3 years have been unforgettable as they have flown by. From the moment I left my family behind to chase this dream, I knew my life wouldn't be normal. I gave up a childhood some would have chosen, spent 10 months a year away from home, sometimes going even a full year without seeing my family. But it was all part of the journey. Coming to the U.S. brought me closer to my big brother, someone I owe very much to. He kept me motivated, kept it real, and reminded me through it all how much he believes in me and loves me, and I will never take that for granted. To everyone who's been a part of this ride, coaches, teammates, friends, and even those I may not talk to anymore, I thank you. Truly, I'm forever grateful. To my teammates from the start, my sophomores, my freshman year, you taught me how to win, how to work, how to lead. I love you boys forever. To my sophomore year, we share a bond for life. Graduating with y'all was special. To my freshmen, the same year that you allowed me and my fellow sophomores to lead you in the ways that we were led. And we came up short, but it was still a great year to remember. Then came OU, and every time I step foot on that campus, I look at the sky and say, thank you, God. Being trusted as a captain by my teammates was a true blessing. After college, only God knows what my tennis career will look like. Until then, I control what I can, my heart, my fight, and my efforts. So here's to the last dance. I'm going all in, blood, sweat, and tears, and whatever it takes to finish strong with no regrets. With all of you in my heart through the good and the tough times. So if you're watching the video, you can tell I got a little emotional reading that. But I think that it's just something I wanted to read, and I knew I was going to cry when I was reading it. But Bruno, that was truly a lovely caption. But I wanted to share that because these last two episodes that I've had last week on July 9th being Toby Rowland and this episode with Bruno. And I'll just preface by saying I've had some truly amazing guests on this show. Each person has been oh so amazing, and I'm so glad to have connected with them. I've made so many friends with my podcast. But these last two episodes have just really hit me a little different in that you can truly tell how grateful and humble and thankful both Toby Rowland is for where he's at being the voice of the Sooners and where Bruno is getting to play for the University of Oklahoma. And I think it's very important to realize that we shouldn't take where we are for granted. Toby sacrificed a lot over his career. Bruno has clearly sacrificed so much more than most any of us ever will to be where he is today. And that says a lot about him as a person. And I just think it's important to highlight that. So Bruno, I'm sorry I cried on your episode, but I wanted to read that post of yours. I thought it was important to share. And thank you for being you. Thank you for all that you did to get where you are. And thank you for being a Sooner. We are all truly grateful. We can all say that you're part of our program and you will always be a Sooner. So thank you. Okay, moving on to this week's Sooner headlines of the week. And holy smokes, have I got a lot to talk about because last week I recorded my episode a couple days early to conclude so I would have it ready to go last Wednesday. And the day that I got everything ready to publish is when Josie announced his retirement. So I'm going to back up a little bit and talk about that, even though that did happen 9 days ago on July 7th. I didn't get to talk about it last week since I had recorded early. So there were a few things I wanted to share regarding Josie's time at OU. And I've never had the honor of meeting him in person, but I have followed him on social media, obviously, for years. I know a lot of people who obviously work very closely with him, and they all think very highly of him. And so I do hope that I someday get the pleasure to meet him. If you listen to my episode with Leah Beasley, Leah was episode 21 back on June the 4th, and she is the Executive Associate Athletics Director of External Engagement, and she is amazing, so shout out to my friend Leah. But we talked a bit about Joe Castiglione, and I told him the nickname that I heard from him somewhere a few years ago, and I cannot say his name without calling him Joey Clutch. And I don't remember who started that. I actually meant to ask Toby Rowland when I visited with him, and I did not. I don't know if Gabe and Teddy came up with that. I do need to ask them. I've been connected with them also to see if maybe they came up with that name. But nevertheless, whoever it was, Joey Clutch, the name has stuck to me. Leah had never heard that before, but she assured me that she was going to find a way to work that in because she thought it was hilarious. But all that to say, Joe Castiglione truly has been clutch in a lot of moments at his time at OU. He has been with us for 28 years. For 3 decades, he's spent as the longest tenured AD in major college sports. In his time at OU in Missouri, 32 of his employees have gone on to become athletic directors or commissioners themselves. In his 28 years at Oklahoma, a span that has seen 26 national titles, 117 league titles, and the Sooners moved from the Big 12 to the SEC, which was obviously a very landmark moment for him. He has served on a myriad of committees over the decades, including the College Football Playoff Committee, the Men's Basketball Selection Committee, Baseball Selection Committee. Per his Oklahoma bio, he's the only athletic director to have served on all 3 of those committees. Over that time, he has earned a role as one of the industry's most powerful and respected voices. He is 67 years old. As Parker Thune said on Twitter, it is a major tip of the fedora to Joe Castiglione. The Sooners are better for having him as their AD for nearly 3 decades, and I couldn't have said it better myself. Short and sweet. Just a lot you could say about Joe Castiglione. What an incredible human. What a lot of accomplishments. And he is a true Sooner. I did hear also in his press conference that he had last Tuesday morning. It was televised and on the radio, but I do believe you can go back and watch that on the Sooner Sports app or Sooner Sports TV on the internet. It was mentioned that he was confronted just a few months ago about becoming an AD at a different institution, and he declined. So even at his age of 67, he is very well esteemed in the community, and they were still pursuing him as a possible hire. So it says a lot. So again, thanks, Joey Clutch. I hope I get a chance to meet you. He will be on staff through mid to end July of 2026, one more year before he is officially retired, and then he will stay on with the university for 2 years following that through July of 2028 to finish up some special projects and help with some things like that. So he'll still be around for a while, but tip of the fedora, as Parker Thune would say, to Joey Clutch for his time at OU. We are truly, truly grateful. He's got big shoes to fill, but I'm sure the committee that is searching will do a great job and find us a great replacement. If you missed it, our SEC network takeover was last Tuesday on July the 8th, and there were a couple of softball games that were rebroadcast, football, men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball. It was a great day. I did get to tune into a lot of the broadcast. I got to watch Lydia Martin and the volleyball team beat Texas in Austin. So that was pretty incredible. Lydia will be on the episode next month in August. She is a former OU volleyball player who just graduated in December and now plays with the pro team, the Indy Ignite. So you'll want to tune in next month to hear Lydia and her adventures in volleyball. It was just a cool day. If you missed that broadcast, I think you can go back and check out some of it on the ESPN or ESPN Plus. But it was just really cool. Here in the dead of summer, there's not a lot going on, especially with collegiate sports. There's nothing going on. It was nice just to get a little fix of our Sooners. And even though we knew the outcome of everything, of course, they only aired the events that we won, but it was cool just to get a chance to watch our teams. And like the volleyball game, I had never gotten to watch that. I'd never seen it before. So it was kind of new experience for me to see that. But again, like the softball game, it was, they replayed one of the Texas games, and they also replayed the Arkansas game from the SEC tournament. Obviously, I'd seen those, but they were still fun to watch. Men's and women's basketball, again, I'd seen those, but I watched them anyway, because why not? But anyway, it was a great time. If you missed the SEC Network Takeover, be sure and keep that in mind for next year. They do it every July. SEC Media Days is on July 16th, which is the day that this episode drops on Wednesday, the 16th. Our quarterback, John Mateer, our safety, Robert Spears-Jennings, and defensive end, our Mason Thomas, are representing Oklahoma at the SEC Media Days in Atlanta, along with Coach Brent Venables. And again, the day this episode drops on Wednesday, July 16th, is our day with the Media Days. It does span over several days in Atlanta. Tyler McComas has been posting from the College Football Hall of Fame, and lots of SEC analysts have been broadcasting, and it's just really cool. Shout out to the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. If you have not been there, I highly recommend trying to go if you get a chance. We went out to the Peach Bowl when OU played in the playoffs back in 2019, and we went to the College Football Hall of Fame then. But it's just a fun trip to see Mercedes-Benz Stadium and get to see the College Football Hall of Fame. Lots of OU exhibits and memorabilia in the Hall of Fame. So it's just a cool experience if you haven't gotten to do that. But be sure to tune in this week, or go back and scroll on social media if you're listening to this after the fact from SEC Media Days. There's lots of great material and lots going on, so you won't want to miss out. Also, another big announcement regarding football is that OU will finally allow tailgating in the North Oval across the street from Campus Corner starting this football season. I don't know all the details as far as the logistics on how to get a spot, if it's just like a free-for-all or something like that, but it's an incredible step forward in the right direction. I know, as I've mentioned before, I mentioned this with my conversation with Toby about visiting Ole Miss and how they tailgate in the Grove, and the Ole Miss fans are talking about coming to Norman, and I said I love Norman with all my heart. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about Norman or our university, but our tailgating has got to step it up in the SEC because those people are nuts. But I think this is a great step in the right direction, so shout out to whoever made those decisions. I heard Gabe and Teddy were talking about possibly moving their pregame shenanigans over to that area to have a more steady audience instead of just passerbys from the party at the Palace. So not sure if that's going to happen, but that could be a great addition to the Oval as well. I posted a meme that was actually from last year that the ref posted. I posted it on my stories and Reddit, Twitter, and boy, did I get quite the response. It was a pick one meme, and it had 6 different pills for you to take. If you could pick one pill to take, which would it be? And I will show it up on the screen real quick. You could choose lifetime all access tickets for every OU sport. You could choose if OU never loses to Texas again. You could choose, you can change the outcome of any past OU game. You could choose OU men's and women's basketball teams win national titles next season. You could choose OU football will go undefeated in SEC play for the next 2 seasons, or you could choose for Brent Venables to win a national title this season. And let me tell you, people had some thoughts. And honestly, for me, I almost felt like that I would just choose lifetime access tickets to all the OU sporting events. That sounds pretty incredible to me. Also, as someone who doesn't live in the Norman area, I do realize it would be almost impossible for me to do that. But I can assure you that if I had tickets, I would find someone to take them to attend all these events. So I tend to lean that way. A lot of people were like, oh, we want to change the outcome of a game, and they listed a variety of games they would have chosen. I always say that I would have chosen the outcome of the Rose Bowl with Baker. But as someone pointed out to me on Reddit, that could have possibly meant that Tebow had a national championship. Tebow is that be out west. For those of you who do not know, that's the nickname of Lincoln Riley. And to be honest, I don't really like that. Never really thought about it that way. So shout out to the guy on Reddit who pointed that out to me. Do we really want him to have had a national title at OU after what he did to us? I'll keep my hand gestures to myself, but nevertheless, it kind of made me question my choice in wanting to go back and change the outcome of that game. However, I really wanted Baker to have a national title. I almost would give anything for him to have it, and perhaps if that just meant Tebow having the national title also, then so be it. I don't know. I mean, who knows? We can't do anything about it. That was literally 7 years ago. I'm still mad about it, though. That game, that Rose Bowl game against Georgia, still mad about it, but this is not the time or place for that. Anywho, back to the meme. I had a lot of great conversation with people over on Reddit. If you want to go and check that out, there was some conversation on Twitter, but I had much more feedback on Reddit at Sooner Girl Pod on Reddit. So go check it out and give me your opinion on which pill would you take. So shout out to the ref. Again, they posted that last year. It popped up in my memories. It was too good not to share again. Okay, when this episode drops on July 16th, it is 45 days until kickoff. 45 days until kickoff, and I am so excited. Again, as I've said for a while, when SEC Media Days comes, we are on the downhill slide, and kids, we're there. We are about 6 weeks out from kickoff, and other than the first game is usually pretty hot and a little miserable as far as that is concerned. I can't wait to get there. I'm in the shade. My season tickets are in the southwest corner. So shout out if you go to the games, give me a holler and come by. I'd love to say hi to you. But I'm in the southwest corner. I go in gate number 1. I do not venture far from my area. But if you're in the area or willing to walk over to my area to say hello, I'm there when the gates open. Every single game, I will be there. Thank God. Like I said, I'm in the shade. That does make a difference. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to see John Mateer in action. I know we've got very limited view of him at the Crimson Combine, and I'm excited to see Jaron Kanek at a new position at wide receiver. And there's just a lot of people I'm excited for. David Stone. Yeah, it's just, I could just go on and on, but I am very excited for football season. 45 days out. The Athletic ranked the 100 best college football rivalry games, and OU made the list 3 times. And when I was reading through this, and some of the other games mentioned too are obviously very good rivals and fun games to watch, but OU made the list 3 times. With number 3 was OU Texas. Number 6 was OU Nebraska. And if you missed the OU Nebraska rivalry back in the day, you truly missed out. My husband and I did travel to Lincoln a few years ago when we played up there, and that was a fun time. And of course, playing them again in Norman and celebrating that 50th year anniversary of the big game was super cool. But if you never actually lived a rivalry game of OU Nebraska when we were both in the Big 12, I don't even know how to describe it. But it's different with OU Texas because we have more of a hate with Texas than we did with Nebraska. Nebraska, of course, yeah, we wanted to win and it was always a big deal. But and I think I speak for Nebraska fans and my experience with Nebraska fans in Lincoln, we respected each other as programs, as teams, as players, as talent. Well, that's not the case with Texas for sure. So it was really cool that made the list. And then Bedlam coming in at number 25. So pretty sad that 2 of those 3 listed of ours are no longer in effect, at least for now, and not on a regular basis. Hopefully Bedlam can pick back up at a later date. But anyway, we still got OU Texas coming in at number 3. Big rivalry. Sadly, that one does not always tip our direction overall in the big scheme of things, but it's still a great rivalry. And I will always say, and as Toby and I talked about on his episode last week, it's one of those games you really got to go to. You really just need to make it happen. It's a lot. It's a whole day. It's a whole thing, but it's a lot of fun. And even if you lose, I've sat there in the heat, and when we've gotten beat, I've sat there in cold rain when we've gotten beat. I've sat there in those same conditions when we won. And some of the biggest wins, the 63-14 win, the 64-10 win. I was there when we got our ass handed to us 49-0 just a few years ago. But when you come out of there as a winner, there's really nothing like it. And so it's just an experience to go to the state fair. So if you get an opportunity, I highly recommend going. Okay, that's enough for football for now, because I'm gearing up for football season and I have a lot of great guests lined up to talk about football this fall. As you know, it's one of my favorites. And I'm trying to have a great lineup during football season to discuss the games each week. So I'm really excited for what is in future this fall. So be sure you're following along on social media at Sooner Girl Pod everywhere, and that you like and follow and subscribe, download this podcast so that you will not miss an episode, because I have some great guests coming up this fall you will not want to miss, especially for you football lovers. Okay. Moving on, our women's basketball coach Jenny and Reagan Beers won the gold medal at the AmeriCup in Chile. So congratulations to them. It was fantastic play, awesome games. I didn't get to watch any of the games, but I did follow along on social media. They were so much fun to watch. Incredible. Shout out again to Coach Jenny and Reagan Beers for being a part of Team USA and taking the gold in the AmeriCup. Our men's gymnastics athletes, Matthew Burgoyne, Emery Dondali, and Ignacio Yockers, were named to the College Sports Communicators 2024-2025 Academic All-American Men's At-Large First Team. It was announced last Wednesday. I know that's a lot of words, a long title, but I didn't want to mess it up. But shout out to those guys for taking it on the floor and in the classroom to the next level. Okay, for softball, we had a big announcement with our former Sooner pitcher, Paige Parker. She was previously on staff at Utah as a pitching coach. She has been hired at the University of Oregon for Director of Player Development. She's reunited with Coach Melissa Lombardi and former Sooner Sydney Romero. So shout out to Paige. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in that role. Our volleyball player, Alexis Shelton, has been named a preseason SEC team. And our Savannah Barber women's golfer is a quarterfinalist for the Women's Western Amateurs, so shout out to her. And congrats to our current Sooner tennis players, Gloria Nahum, on reaching the doubles final at the W35 Hillcrest in South Africa. She has back-to-back weeks with final appearances for her, so shout out to her. And Ivana and Carmen Corley, former Sooner sisters, they won the Hall of Fame doubles women's open title, so shout out to them. And I saved the best two headlines for last. If you were not following golf this weekend, you truly missed out. As former Sooner Chris Gotterup won the Scottish Open, he went face-to-face with Rory McIlroy. If you're not familiar with golf, Rory is a very decorated golfer. He has won a lot of major tournaments, and for Chris to go head-to-head with him and beat him out to take the Scottish Cup is truly a huge win for him. So shout out to our former Sooner, Chris. That's his second tour title. He punched his ticket to the Open Championship with that win on Sunday. So again, shout out to Chris Gotterup. He has accomplished a lot these last few years on his tour, and I wanted to read a few of his accomplishments from the rise of Chris, as this was shared by the PGA Tour yesterday after his win. He has played 4 collegiate seasons at Rutgers in his home state of New Jersey. He played his 5th season at Oklahoma, and he won the College Player of the Year award. He finished top 3 at final stage of a Q school to earn the Korn Ferry Tour status in the fall of 2020. He finished number 23 on that tour standing and earned a PGA Tour card in 2023. He earned his first PGA Tour title at One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic in May of 24. He cards 9 top 25 finishes in the first 21 starts of the season, January through July of this year, 2025. And he won the Genesis Scottish Open just this past Sunday. So shout out to Chris. What a accomplishment for him. He has truly accomplished a lot in his golfing career, and I'm so glad that we got to snag him for his last year of collegiate play at OU. And the biggest headline of the week is the Major League Baseball draft. I am wearing my jersey. If you're watching the video, you can see. I was so excited for the draft. I waited to record. I'm recording this on Monday afternoon, July the 14th at 12:30. So we've had several players drafted already. And if anyone's drafted after that, I will mention it on next week's episode. But we've had 5, I believe, already. And so I want to talk about those from the Major League draft. So, number 1 pick of the MLB draft last night was Eli Willits. He's an OU signee. He's the son of our assistant coach, Reggie Willits, who also used to play for OU. And his brother obviously plays for us at OU. He went number 1 overall to the Nationals. He went over Cade Anderson, who was supposed to be a top pick, and Ethan Holiday, who ended up going number 4, I believe, to the Rockies. Just an incredible accomplishment for the Willits family. The OU DNA runs deep in that family. And even though Eli never actually got to play for us as Sooners, I think we can all agree that he's a Sooner. His dad played for us, coaches for us, his brother played for us. He was signed to come to OU, even though we all knew he was probably going to get drafted. But to be picked overall number 1 in the MLB draft, he is the 3rd youngest player to be drafted at 17 years old, 7 months. From Fort Cobb High School. That's some OU DNA, and we're so proud of him and look forward to watching him in the majors. And Aaron Fitt of D1 Softball, he saw Willits during OU fall workouts, and he thought he was by far the best player on the field, except he was in high school, which is crazy. But he went number 1. As I mentioned, Ethan Holiday of Oklahoma. We know the Holiday family. Matt Holiday is his dad. He went number 4 to the Rockies. It's the first time since 2011 with Dylan Bundy and Archie Bradley that 2 OK Prep products selected in the first round of the MLB draft. So that's pretty cool. So Kyson Witherspoon went number 15 to Boston. He becomes the 22nd first round selection in OU program history and the 4th under Coach Skip Johnson. And it's the 4th time in the last 8 drafts that the Sooners have had a first round draft pick with Cade Horton, Cade Cavalli, and Kyler Murray. Malachi Witherspoon went round 2, pick 62 to Detroit, and Easton Carmichael, round 3, pick 82 to Philly. Cade Crossland, he was just drafted right before I started recording this morning on Monday. He went round 4, pick 120 to the Cardinals. Skip Johnson has now produced 42 draft picks as the Sooners coach, including 29 pitchers. Holy smokes. Incredible. I also, on the baseball note, wanted to give a shout out that as of right now, the summer OU has added 8 transfer pitchers. We have the UNLV transfer LJ Mercurius, Mississippi State Nolan Stevens, Maryland's Joey McManus, Ajuko Brayan Oratia, Miami Jackson Cleveland, from UCF Isaac Williams, from Texas Drew Rarick. That was a new one this past week. And also this past week, TCU transfer Mason Bixby. Drew Rarick transferred to Oklahoma. He was number 58 player overall and number 16 right-handed pitcher in the 2024 class by perfect game. And also Mason Bixby committed from the portal this past week. He's right-handed pitcher from TCU. He's the 39th ranked player overall in the portal. According to 64 Analytics, in his freshman year against Tech, he reached a 100-mile-an-hour pitch on his fastball to join the Century Club, which, as you can imagine, does not have very many members. So that's a lot of information coming out of our baseball squad this past week with the new transfers coming in, loading up our pitching arsenal, and the MLB draft. So shout out to all those Sooners. And again, my last Sooner to see picked before recording was Cade Crossland. If anyone is picked after that, I will record it and mention it on next week's episode. And so for my Sooner MVP of the week, which again, I'm not always super consistent with, especially in the summer, this offseason, there's not a ton going on, but I'm giving it Skip Johnson. Because as I previously discussed all of his stats and numbers of the amount of recruits he's had in the draft overall and just as pitching, he is an incredible coach. I did have former OU pitcher Carson Atwood on episode 20 back on May 28th, and we talked about just him playing with Coach Skip and how incredible of a coach he is. And so if there's any doubt about that, please go back and listen to that great episode where we talk about Skip. But he's my Sooner MVP of the week, so shout out to Coach Johnson. Hey, I'm hoping to maybe get him on the pod next baseball season because he is incredible. So shout out to him, Sooner MVP of the week for Sooner Girl Sports Pod. Not that that accolade means anything to anyone other than myself. However, I think you deserve the shout out this week for our numbers from the draft. Okay, so to end my show this week with a Sooner fun fact of the week, the 2022 MLB draft marked the first time in Sooner baseball history that 3 players from the same team were chosen in the first 2 rounds. However, if we want to count Eli Willits as a Sooner, which technically he's not for stat purposes, but we could say we did that again this year in 2025. But technically, Eli's not a Sooner as he was drafted directly out of high school. So we will stick with the 2022 was the first time that had happened. But for us Sooners in our heart, we can know we did that again in 2025. So thank you guys, everyone, for listening today. I truly appreciate your support more than you know. I hope that you please go give me a follow. I'm on every social media platform at Sooner Girl Pod. Please go follow and like and subscribe, share with a friend, download the episodes on your favorite podcast app. If you get merch, please send me a photo or post it and tag me in it on your social media. I do have merch available. My link in bio is my link tree. And on that link tree, you will find all my social media linked, all my podcast apps linked for merch. If you would like to rate and leave a review on the podcast app while you're at it, I would truly appreciate that. You can also do that on Facebook. Also in my link tree, you will see a link to my Substack, where not only can you get the episodes via video and the show notes, and you can watch that there, you can sign up for your email address, and I have a monthly newsletter called The Playbook, and I send out highlights from the month on who I've been interviewing, what's coming up, if I have any giveaway winners, highlights from our locker room online huddle, all the kinds of things like that you make sure you don't want to miss anything from Sooner Girl Pod. And you also can get each episode every Wednesday sent directly to your inbox so you don't miss anything. Big announcements that are sent out on my Substack as well. all of that can go directly to your inbox. So again, you do not miss anything regarding Sooner Girl Sports Pod. And as I mentioned, my locker room, we have a monthly huddle on Google Meet. I would love to have you. My locker room is $5 a month, and you get lots of perks, ladies. We have our monthly online huddle. We have a private chat on the Substack app. We have a private feed on Instagram. I do giveaways. We do in-person meetups. You get a discount on merch and all sorts of things. I am planning another in-person meetup during football. I just had one a few weeks ago before the AU softball game in Norman, but I am planning to do that again in football season. And I've given away some shirts. I've given away some Spark softball tickets, and I gave away some basketball tickets earlier in the spring. And I will not be doing a football ticket giveaway, but I do plan to give away some volleyball tickets, possibly soccer, women's hockey, things like that. If you missed my episode with Corey Matthey, she is starting a OU women's hockey team this fall. Go back and give that one a listen. It was in May. We talk about the new team starting this fall, and I am definitely going to try to help her to get support for that. So stay tuned for some of those giveaways as well for my locker room girls. So again, $5 a month. You can sign up on my Substack. Again, my link is in bio. You can sign up for completely for free just to have things sent to your inbox so you don't miss anything, or you can pay the $5 a month to join the locker room and get all the fun perks. If you are interested in the locker room but not quite sure if it's your thing, you maybe want to try out one of our meetups or something, just shoot me a message. I'd be happy to accommodate that if we can work it out. So I also have advertising sponsorship opportunities available. You can message me on social media, again, at Sooner Girl Pod. I'm everywhere. Or shoot me an email at soonergirlsportspod@gmail.com. So I have a lot of great guests coming up. I'm very, very, very grateful and thankful for the guests that have given me their time to come on the show. I'm just truly thankful and grateful for all of your support. And again, thank you for hitting play today. And I hope to see you next Wednesday. It will be my very first Crimson Chronicles episode. It is a new series that I plan on dropping an episode every 4 to 6 weeks or so. It's going to be fan stories, Sooner Born, Sooner Built. Next week's episode is the inaugural Crimson Chronicles episode with my very best friend in the whole world, Karen Letts. And she talks about how she was Sooner built by me. And it's just part of my story as a Sooner fan, part of her story on how she became a Sooner fan as someone in Texas who didn't know anything about football or the University of Oklahoma when I met her in 2000. So I hope that you guys come back next week and tune into that one. So thank you again for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Please share with a friend, like, follow, subscribe, all the fun things. And I will see you next Wednesday with some more Sooner headlines and with the first episode of the Crimson Chronicles, and we will talk sports.